Okay, so now we're into the last part of the man coverage for this part of the book, talking about pounder. Okay, it could be run out of nickel, it could be run out of dollar. I didn't show it to you on the field in dollar, so I could do that in another video. Not a big deal. You guys get the concept. All we're doing is really playing man under coverage. Okay, but what we have with the safeties is that they're playing quarters. Okay, so it's that simple, right? Now, when we get onto the Madden game, Madden field, I'm going to teach you how it works when you put your safeties, when you take a coverage, because we're probably going to use one robber again. Okay, but we're going to put our quarters into we're going to put our safeties into quarters, inside quarters assignment. There are some things you need to understand if matches on and matches off. I'll explain it more on the field. But really, the great thing about this, and I'll talk about it some more, is just you give really good body presence to all of the receivers that are in the inside. So if you have outside corners that are really good and you want to help out on some of these inside routes or inside breaking routes, now we can play pounder. Okay. Pounder does have some ways that you can actually use what they call top. So top is like a situation where if number three, this is technically number three right here, he's in the backfield. Okay. So usually when teams come out with this type of look with two backs in the backfield, even if one of them's a tight end, it usually means they're gonna go seven-man protection and take a shot down the field. Okay. Same thing if it was like a chipper set, right? Two guys are standing right there, both these guys have moved up and they were standing like wing alignment. Usually means deeper shot. We're going to go max protection. We're going to chip. So usually that pounder to the guy to the side of the one receiver is not necessary. They're just basically going to play fist. Really. Okay. Two man to that side. That's an adjustment you don't really need to worry about because I think we're going to call pounder versus certain formations. In Madden, we know the formations. So if you see that formation with two backs in the backfield, you can just kind of call a different defense, right? So you can call fist. All right. So pounders there. If there is a bunch, they do give some ability to kind of use your tools. We don't have tools that we can use right now in Madden unless you've gotten it maybe from another content creator. You can always use whatever tools you like out of man-to-man coverage. Preferably, I would play box as my changeup or lock and triangle as my changeup, but I'm not going to mess with that. I'm just going to stay with lock man, blocking levels and but you could potentially take this side of the field and do you could fist it. You could put this safety into one half if you want over bunch. That's up to you. But really, let's just focus on what Pounder can do for you when we get onto the field. Okay. So let's go to the next one. The next progression is finger. Okay. So finger is basically to the passing strength. We're going to play fist, and away from the passing strength, we're going to play pounder. And there's good reason why this is a good coverage. Again, I'll cover it on the field more. It'll make more sense to you. But just know, basically, wherever the nickel is, because he always travels to the passing strength for you. If you leave auto alignment on, we're going to play half field. So we might have to make a little bit of an adjustment with the safety. Away from that, we're going to play pounder. Okay. So that's a nice little call that we have ready to go. All right. So that's called finger. So it's kind of one of these half field coverages, and why would we want to do this? I'll talk about it more, but probably based off of combinations of plays that people like to run at a certain formation. So the 3-by-1 set, right? There's certain plays that people like to run. I know I'm going to talk about it on the field. All right. But like a flood combination would be a reason why you want to play fist. And then people want to run maybe something different on the backside that attacks the middle of the field, like a dig route. You play pounder. Okay. So that's what finger together does for you. All right. And then the last one is going to be ring. Okay. So ring is the Zeus version of man to man coverage. Okay. So now you're talking about playing fist to a particular number. Okay. And pounder away from that number. And the rules go like this. So the guy in yellow is the guy that we're looking at. If they are aligned at the number one position on the outside, okay, play fist to that side. All right. That's the base rule. If they are aligned at number two or number three, play pounder to that side. okay, and then play pounder away. If they do align, let's say at the number one spot, but it's a tight stack formation like that, they're together close, play pounder. Again, a stack formation, we just want to have strong presence on the inside by playing pounder, by having the safety play that quarters technique. Okay. Hmm. Here's an example of them being by themselves, lonesome on the backside of a 3x1, play fist. Okay. And if they ever do come out, I think the next page might have bunch on there. If they have a bunch formation or there's motion, there might be different rules to that. So if we do have bunch here, it doesn't matter where he is in the bunch, play pounder. Okay. And then if there's motion, right, obviously he's in the slot, we go pounder to pounder, same thing. Okay. So just want to make sure we know that. There's some other little rules that if it's like Z close, there's some like man tools that we can use, which cut is basically like a bracket coverage, which we haven't gotten to yet, but we just want to kind of talk about that. So ring is one of these calls that basically you're playing a team and you don't know where the best receiver is going to be. Well, we're going to try to play a man version of trying to double team you if we can. Okay. And if you're on the outside, the easiest way to double team a receiver is by playing two man or fist. And if you're on the inside, the best way to double team you is to play pounder or quarters man, but play pounder is best way to kind of get two potentially two guys to cover that one receiver. Okay. All right. So it's not a true double team. It's still the same rules as Pounder. Just want to make sure you guys understand those three things. Let's jump on the Madden field. Let's take a look at all these bad boys and get after it. I'll see you over there. Okay, everybody, let's get into Pounder. It's a good play call. I prefer to use cover one robber from off, all right, in general, but you can use cover one robber from press. That's up to you. Okay. If you wanted to make it look like fist, that's perfectly fine. Well, I like to use this formation usually against compression sets, to be honest with you, and also 3x1 sets as well. But let's just start with 2x2, just to show you how it works, and just to make sure we're on the same page with a couple things that we talked about already. So, match is on, right? We're a match team. We've been playing match. Just understand that match when you play pounder kind of can affect the safeties assignments if you go up against certain formations. So we need to go through those formations real quick. So 2x2 spread, okay? When you put both of these safeties into quarters assignments and everybody's playing man, they will just go straight back, okay? They would just go straight back. They are not playing anybody. They're not going to help necessarily with any particular person. They're not playing man. They're just going back and basically playing a zone drop in their quarters track. Okay. Now, if we were to come out versus a different formation, though, all right, let's say if we can go up against 3x1, all right, it doesn't matter if it's regular trips, but we'll just do that real quick. Um, and let's just give me a route that we can see what's going on here. Let's go with vertical Y out. Okay. We call the same play on defense. It's going to call cover one robber. All right. I'm going to put both of these guys into inside quarters. All right. If you did this and you have match on, guys, this is what happens versus 3x1. Both of the safeties would man up on the tight end. Okay. They would jump the tight end and play man to man on the tight end. All right. They won't necessarily jump him, they play him off coverage. All right. So you guys saw that. That's just something you have to understand. So if you want to play pounder, you don't want this necessarily, right? You really don't want this at all. So you need to do something, either two things you can do. Okay. You can, before the call, all you have to do is just use your coverage adjustments and play the sticks. So just like in zone coverage, what that does is turn these guys into no man assignment whatsoever. They would just play zone drop. Okay. So play the sticks and then you change your assignment to quarters. That will get them to just go straight back and you won't have to worry about them trying to take away the tight end. Okay. So you have to know that when you play Pounder, that if you expect both of the computer players to just go straight back, then you definitely have to play the sticks. If you do play the sticks after you change the assignments, one of the guys usually goes back to his original assignment, so you just have to hot route him. Okay, but that's what you want. Now, 3x1, that's what happens in 3x1. Even if it's 3x1 nub, they're gonna go to play the number three receiver. Okay. Now versus a bunch formation. All right. It doesn't matter if it's strong or not, but let me just check this out. Versus a bunch formation, it's still 3 by 1. Okay. So we have match on right now. This is a tight compression bunch, but it doesn't matter. Okay. Both the safeties are going to go and play the number 3. Okay. So they went after the tight end there who ran a little bit of a wheel route on his side. They just went up the field and they all played him. Okay. So in order to not get that, you have to go with play the sticks. All right. And then now you can go with your adjustment and play them inside quarters. Oops. All right. Play the sticks is there. And then now we run the play and they're just going to sit in the middle of the field. Okay. On their quarters track. So just make sure you use play the sticks. If you don't want to do that and you don't feel good about it, then you can obviously just turn match off. Okay. So you can just go right back into your coaching adjustments. You know you're going to call pounder. That's what you want to call. You can just come down here and turn match off. Okay. All right. And then the last one, just so you know, if you get a 2 by 2 compression set, all right, and this applies to not just cover one robber guys, there's any of the man coverages. So if you called cover 2 man, you call it cover 0, you call it cover 1, it doesn't matter. All right. As long as you call that, then you play with the safeties, you do what you want, that's what's going to happen. But if you get a compression set like this, 2 by 2 compression, um, it doesn't have to be full compression, but if the running back is to the compression side, all right. They kind of treat this like a bunch. All right. So the safety to that side of the field will play the running back. Okay. He will play him man to man. So it's good for wheel route defense. I kind of like it, but let me just show you what happens if he just runs like a flat route. All right. He's gonna like just hover over the top at about like 10 yards depth and just kind of sit there. All right. So if you don't want that as a computer user, just make sure you go to play the sticks and then just get these 2 safeties to go back. All right. And then now it's just going to be, they're just going to play their zone. Nobody's going to follow the halfback. Okay. So I said all of that just to let you know how the mechanics work. For the rest of this clip, I don't feel like having to make the changes. So I'm just going to turn match off. All right. Just to make it easy on myself. Okay. So versus 2 by 2 spread, I think it's a good coverage. I think we're going to end up using, as we go down the line, some other combinations of different types of, we're going to play pounder to one side, fist to the other when we get to our next call. Honestly, I do believe though it's a good defense to play with the safety, and you use one of the safeties, okay, which is kind of fun because it's a low stress way to learn how to play quarters, okay. So versus whatever the formation, 2 by 2, if you feel like the inside threats are um, going to get the ball, you think that they're going to run in breaking routes, especially work with it, okay, and try to help out on number 2. If number 2 goes vertical, you got him. All right. I do believe though that 3 by 1 and some of the close these tight formations is where it's even a little bit better. Okay. And let's just talk about some of the problems, right? Some of the things that are going to happen in close formations: corner routes, crossing routes, shallows, and also wheels. Okay. So let's just use tight spot. All right. So I think this is a good time to play pounder. All right. Really, you can also play, as we get to it, some 2 man. But right now, let's just play pounder on both sides. Okay. And what side do you want to play, or what side do you want to protect against? Right. The corner route, which always usually comes from the wide receiver side, not where the tight end is, right? You can sit here and if you think there's a corner, you can play it. Now that was a dig right there. All right. Didn't have the corner in there, but you can see how you can help out on any type of in breaking route. Or if there's a corner, you can kind of be smart and play it yourself. All right. Now, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's, a team likes to run a lot of shallow concepts and there's a good player. If there's a really fast player, you can kind of sit over to the side where you think the crosser is going to come from and just be smart and then just go play it. Okay. So you can kind of do what you want. Now, especially when you don't have a vertical coming at you as a safety, you kind of free up. And then the very last one would be, I don't mind playing pounder too. I'm worried about the wheel route concepts, right? I'm thinking, hey, if that running back runs a wheel, I'm gonna be right there to help out. And then you still have good coverage everywhere else. Okay. So to me, pounder is a really nice call versus end breakers versus all of these tight formations where there's a lot of stuff going on. I feel like you can kind of free yourself up and you can be back here. Okay. Also, it's really good that if a team does want to run the ball, right, we're going to start playing with safety some more, even in our base coverage. But this is less stress that you know what, if it's a run play, you're going to come up and try to be that extra player to make the run, to make the hit. If it happens to be a pass, then you should feel it's okay. You're not giving up a touchdown. Where if you did this out of quarters coverage or cover nine, right, or cover two, you're potentially giving up a touchdown and you are not a primary run fit player. So this is something that can be used even in rundowns to give you a little bit more, let you be aggressive. Okay. Let's talk about bunch formations, right? So most people that come out in bunch formations, let me see if we have just a regular bunch here. All right, we'll come out in bunch nasty, right? Same problems that we always talk about that we need to protect against, right? Corner routes, shallow crossers, things like that, right? So here, if you play pounder on both sides, I feel pretty good about on the right hand side. If a corner route comes out of here, I feel okay that that safety will at least be there to make a tackle late down the field. Okay. There might be better ways to play it, but we'll get to it. But let's say I'm really concerned about, somebody running across the field on a dig route, or let's say he audible somebody to a crossing route, because a lot of people would do this, right? They'll have that deep crosser coming this way down the field, right? Let's say they try to run somebody off, and people are going to try to take advantage of that. Well, my responsibility is okay, I have presence here, but I can also have presence to help out on a crosser late. All right. We can even bait it a little bit and back up straight back, right? And go from there. Maybe we want the computer to do that, right? Maybe I want to play on this side. I want to help out in the corner route, right? And then if I didn't put it in there, but if there was a deep crosser or some type of deep route, at least that computer safety is on the backside to help out. So I do feel like this is kind of like it's kind of an in-between world of not playing necessarily fist, because fist and safety is going to get going to get a lot of width, and it's still going to be a lot of space in the middle of the field. Here, a lot of people sometimes will come out and bunch, they'll come out in 2 by 2 and try to throw the ball down the middle of the field, right? How many times do you see guys, just come out and compress 2 by 2 and try to hit you with with a pass right down the middle, right? So I feel like that's a good call versus that. And then 3 by 1 in general, especially nub, kind of goes back to almost playing one robber or one hole. Okay, you have players that are there to help you out in the middle of the field. So let's just do this one here. Let's come out and just a normal set. All right, so now you have presence on number two if people want to throw it to number two, right? And then now you have backside presence as well. Who do you user or what are you worried about? You know what I'm saying? Are you worried about dig routes from one, right? Are people doing this type of stuff? So maybe now you could just sit there as a true quarters player and help out, right? Are you worried about post from number two, like just happened there, right? So maybe we can just put this guy into a quarter. Same thing here. You see that people are trying to run post routes in number two. This is a pretty popular play. You know what? I'm going to go jump that, right? Even though he's kind of going to the other safety. So we're going to kind of play around with this. I don't have any experience with this. So this is kind of new to me. I'm not sure if this is this is definitely a game plan thing. You can definitely use this on third down, but it's pretty neat. All right. And don't forget, if you want to press guys, you can. You can press. I would just play over the top. I would use over the top coverage. Okay, to help out so that the guys on the outside don't get burned. But again, you can play press coverage to kind of give that look and then work it out from there. All right. And really try to make people's lives a little bit harder than what they're used to. All right. And then versus 3 by 1 nub formations, we kind of talked about this already, but people love to throw crossing routes. People love to throw all these funky routes. All right, we talked about robber coverage, having it look like this to start, right? So people might think you're still playing robber, but we're not. And we talked about how this is good because we can help out versus what over here we can kind of sit here and help out on this route. This guy comes in the middle, so he takes away the middle, but now we have another answer to robber, and we can put him on the quarters technique. Now he's there to help out on number two. Remember, I said the weakness of this video, the weakness of this is that two can run vertical routes on you, right? Well, now you have a deep player there to help you on two. And then on the backside, I would probably use this guy. So I would be kind of hunting up number one and number three and try to take away both of those routes, okay? Knowing that really number two is taken care of by the safety. All right. So it's kind of a compliment to, as Fangio calls his one hole, which is regular one robber to most people. It's a nice little answer for you there. Okay. Um all right, I'm gonna save it for later. I do have an idea versus 4x1 formations as well, but I'm gonna save that for later. We'll save that for another video, okay? Especially when the halfback's in the backfield. But that's Pounder, all right? So long explanation. Just want to make sure everybody understands some of the downfall of it. I don't want anybody to get caught out there, okay? So let's quickly go to the next one. So finger is a way to play man under coverage, all right? And we're gonna play to wherever we're the nickel, okay, we will use our fist rules. We play fist to whatever side the nickel travels to, okay, and then we would play pounder away from the nickel, okay. So in this one here, I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to call this out. I honestly do believe there's going to be two different ways. I'm going to use two man to start, okay. And let's just come out versus good old 2x2 to start, and then we'll go through some other formations quickly. Again, this is a little bit of I don't have a lot of experience with this. I'm gonna try to get on film and do some stuff with this, all right? But in general, let's show two men, right? Just like we would in Fist. Okay. Let's show two men, but also we don't have to line up in it. This is one time that you might want to line up in it. Okay. To let people know that hey, it might be two men, right? But if you want to use a disguise, you can use what we talked about before, right? Back everybody up and then get to two man, right? Oops, didn't work. Two man has to be in your audibles. It's not in my audibles right now. But however we get to two man, that's fine. Okay, that's if you want to play off, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. So if we're in two man, and what we're looking at here now is really just playing that half field coverage to the field side. So most of the time it'd be because the ball, let's say the ball's on the boundary. All right, I can see myself using this more against 3x1, but let's just say the best receivers are to the left. Okay, we know it, whatever. So we're going to play fist to the left. On the right hand side, we're going to play pounder. Okay, the only thing here is that because you're playing pounder, you're called two man. You don't want your outside corner on the right to be playing trail technique. Okay. So the two things you can do is just play over the top coverage. All right. Which unfortunately on the left hand side, everybody's playing over the top coverage. So that's the bad thing. If anybody has any answers to that, let me know. But we can just rock this out. Guys are playing over the top coverage. I'm helping out here. Right. Oops, I put my guy off, but I'm helping out playing pounder on the weak side. Okay. The other thing, and this is why would you want to do this? Okay. Well, one of the combinations I feel that is popular in Madden, let me see if I can find one. Um, let me see if I can. I wish I had a normal 2x2 set here, but we can kind of use this. Yeah, let's kind of. Uh, I'm trying to just find a normal set where usually you have to one side of the field. I'll use floods. Drive. It's okay. It's going to be a flood combination, usually to the field, right? So people will use this on third down, and you kind of see it in their playbooks, right? So if we were playing, I can call it two man, but let me just use one robber. It's okay. We can use one robber as well. We can sit here and use one robber and turn this side into fist. Okay, that's already set. All right, I'm going to put it under just to start, and we're good over there. On the back side, okay, usually you get some sort of, on a flood combination, you usually get a dig. And usually it's from number one. Okay, it's something like this. If I can walk them out, I could. But usually it's a dig, and then number two in a 2x2 set will probably run like some sort of outbreaking route, like a vig or something like that, right? So to the front side, we want to play two man. To the back side, we want to play pounder. Okay, we want to play quarters so that you can be there to help out, right, with this route manually on the big route if that's the backside option. Now, if you do get caught in playing two man or you're playing press and you're playing man under or whatever it is, So you can individually back off your weak side corner, right? Let him play from off position, right? So that he's not, that's, people won't just try to bomb you. And then you can go from there. But then now we can sit here and we can take care of the route like that. So that's a route combination you see a lot of. A lot of times you see it at a 3x1. Okay. So if you play a team that has a lot of 3x1 sets, usually that type of combinations in there, some sort of flood combinations in there like that. They go verticals out. Right. It's kind of a perfect example of what I'm looking at. So I'm just going to call it 2-man on this one here. All right. So verticals out. Let's move the ball over if I can. All right. So to the passing strength, all right, that's usually to the field. You can play it like that. You got this, and on the backside we play pounder. Okay. If you use 2-man, make sure you back this corner off. Okay. His technique in general, he's still going to be playing a little bit of man under, unfortunately, but just want to make sure that at least he's there. All right. And then you can come down and help out there. Now, there was something that I saw in the manual that for some reason the Y is I'll use Y, I'll save the Y off. That's an old school thing. Okay, but if there was two guys in the backfield, if the tight end was in the backfield, all right, I can't get him in that spot, but he's off the ball and it's like a 20, what they call a 20 personnel look, two backs in the backfield. Even though you called even though we have finger called, okay, where we usually play pounder, basically, if number three is in the backfield, right, we can kind of also just take it and just go basically back to fist if you want. Okay, you don't have to play. I think they have a different name for it. I probably covered it already. I forgot it already, but you're going to just basically play fist on the backside. So you can just play 2-man and just let it rock out. You don't have to do anything. All right. But if they have a three receiver threat, right? So let's say Kelsey's here. It could be a combination where he's going vertical, right? Something vertical, and then they're going to run like a combination like this, where it's a deep out of two or something else. Playing on the backside back here, playing pounder, especially when it's your user, allows you to help out, right? On even over here on three, on two, but you're there. You have body presence to help out. It's like you're not in 100% poach mode, but you know that's the weakness of the defense. Okay. You know you can help out. So that's part of the reason why versus 3x1 is such a good call. Okay. Obviously, versus 3x1 nub, it'd be a similar situation, right? So let's go. I'm gonna go back with 2-man. Let's see if the guys get lined up correctly. They do what they do in this one. Backside would play quarters. Okay. So now we're watching obviously Kelsey. We might want to help there, right? But then we also want to help out with number three as well. But now we have nice cover 2-man, hard man to the other to the passing strength, and we're all set. All right. So that's a nice little compliment to what we've been doing. Everything's been complementing each other as we go through, if you've noticed. So going all the way back to what we called Fangio's hole, which is one robber, and what it can do. And then we went through the pounder. Okay, now we're at finger. And we kind of have a feel for how it can help you out. And then obviously versus 2x2, um, a 2x2 close set. If you didn't like how pounder didn't give you enough presence for a corner out, right? Let's say we get a situation where people are throwing lots of corners, like escape right here. Now you can sit there and you can get that nice cover two look. So I'm actually going to go with 2-man here. All right. Even though the ball is on this hash, that corner routes to the left of the screen. So that's the set. Let's just move it over. Let's be realistic. People like to throw corners. That's the first look. All right. So now we have 2-man on the left. We're good. On the right. Okay. I do know that pounder allows you to play tools, as they call it. Oops. Tools being that if this was actually, we could actually play box over here if you wanted to versus this bunch like formation. But in Madden, you can't do it. So we're just going to play pounder over here. Okay. So on the left hand side, we're pretty good there. All right. But then now I could have helped out on that post route, on that combination there. Okay. So it's just something to think about. I think it's something that I'm going to have obviously for every time I watch somebody. If I see certain route combinations that I just talked about, I'm probably going to have this ready to go. It's probably going to be my first answer, even before pounder. Okay. All right. So the last one is going to be ring. Okay. So ring is the same. rules as Zeus. Okay. Similar rules as Zeus, but we're using um, pounder. Okay. The pounder and the fist combination together to decide how we're going to do it. All right. So what we're trying to do is we don't know where a receiver is going to be. All right. So we'll come out versus 2 by 2. And let's just say the top receiver is, we'll just pick somebody when we get out there. I'm probably using a bad team for this right now, but let's just call, in this case, one robber again. Okay. Now, if you this is part of the problem where you can't maybe call these plays back to back, you can use 2 man. You're just gonna have to play over the top coverage. Okay. Or you should have some different fronts with different types of robbers in it if you have to repeat it. People ask you what you're doing, you're not always playing the same thing. And they don't know what you're playing, which is really good. That's one thing I've noticed is that in this defense in general, we're going to call plays a lot or maybe cover 4 quarters and from one robber, and they're going to think that's all you play. But you're playing a myriad of coverages, and they're not going to really know. So, but if it's a problem in your league and they think that you're calling the same play over and over, just make sure you have 2 man and make sure you have some palms. Make sure you have some other things in there that can help you out. All right. All right. So here we go. Let's just say um, let's say Rice, okay? I don't know if he'll be back, right? We'll see he is the guy that we want to follow his jersey number, okay? So if he's aligned on the outside of any formation, we're going to definitely fist his side, okay? So we're right now in cover one, robber. So let's just say we're going to press, we'll play over the top, and we're going to play fist. So we put that safety over there, all right, to that side, and then away from it, we're going to play pounder, okay? So we're good to go. Let's just put Rice in a different position. Let's go with a 3 by 1 formation, and let's put him on the weak side here. Okay, so number 4. Here we go. All right, so let's put him on the weak side of a 3 by 1 formation. We come out in robber again. All right, so he's over there to the right. People are mixing him up. So you have to know is you use this if somebody definitely is mixing the guy up. If they're not mixing him up and they're keeping him in the same spot, it's not a big deal. But he's at the number 1 position, right? So let's just play press. All right. Take the safety and put him into a deep half. Okay. And then over here on the opposite side, we'll play pounder. So now this is a good thing about it is you let the computer play the deep half and you play the pounder on the backside. Okay. If he's aligned in the slot, we're just gonna play regular pounder. Okay. So that's the rules. We kind of talked about it already. It's good to look at it one more time, take our time through this. If he's in the slot, so number 4 is in the slot here. We're just going to play pounder. All right. Make sure that your match is off if you want to do it that way. If you don't, use play the sticks. And now we're going to play pounder, which what does what? Basically, it's almost like we're watching this guy. We're double teaming almost to this guy. And also, there's another safety on the other side that's there to help out. Okay. Maybe you want to let the computer play to his side and you want to watch him to this side a little bit. You're still playing your quarters rules, but it's really focusing the coverage back to the inside like original Pounder does. Okay. And then if you remember, if it's ever like a tight split, so let's say it's 2 by 2, but there's like a um, even 2 by 2 tight on both sides. If he's ever in any type of stack or bunch, just play pounder. Okay. So it's as simple as that. If he motions from side to side, I think that one was, I have to go back and look again. I probably covered it in the first part, but that's the other one where we're going to just probably play pounder. Okay. So that's where we are. All right. I feel like overall, this is a pretty neat little package to have. Um, you probably go into a game anticipating using something, right? I think this guy runs a lot of combination route combinations, kind of similar to the quarters. If you know a guy is playing a lot of 3 by 1 and running a route combination like Flood, then you know you're going to call cover 8, right? And you're going to call it, just have it in your game plan ready to go. But if you're playing a guy who likes to move somebody around and likes to try to be funky, puts him in the slot, moves him around so you can't find his best player, then we're always going to be able to find your best player with this call of either Zeus if we're playing zone or Ring if we're playing man. Okay. Or if that's not even the problem at all, if it's a running back problem, right, then we're going to play a little bit more of the robber coverage and put a safety on him. Okay. All right, guys. I hope you guys like this. What we have left is to get into the penny package, and then we have some blitzes I haven't covered in all the packages. I kind of saved them for the end. They're a little bit just basically line up and go, but there is a little bit of some kind of like in the Jim Swords package. We have some blitzes where we have shapes, and we can send two guys off of a side depending on where you want the blitz to go. That may not be a big part of the package. Really, we want to play more coverage, but I got to get through Penny. And I got to get through Magic. Those are the two that are really left that I haven't really covered. Okay. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later, man. Peace.